I'm quickly going to show you how to optimize your images for your website. Now, I'm an artist and not a photographer, but the idea is still the same. I have a lot of work in my portfolio, and first of all, I want to be sure that I'm being selective and that I'm only showing my best work and particularly the work that I want more of. And secondly, when you have so many images, you want to be sure that they are not unnecessarily heavy, which is going to slow down your website speed. In general, I recommend staying under 500 kilobytes as much as possible. Now let's say you have folders and folders of your high resolution photos and they all need to be resized for the web. Don't despair, I'm going to show you an easy way to do that in Photoshop. So to start, I've created a simple folder called Optimize for Web. Now you can name it whatever is appropriate for the images that you'll be resizing. I'm going to be using these photos, which this is not my work. This is from a mock-up collection from Moyo Studio, and they have lovely work, by the way. And let's say that I wanted to use one of their images with a commercial license, of course, on my website. So this is a lovely image, but let's check the file size. So I'm going to right-click, I'm going to go to Get Info, and as you can see, it's almost 6 megabytes. It's quite large. It's too heavy for the web. It doesn't have to be this heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up in Photoshop. Now that I'm in Photoshop, I'm going to create an action. So you can find action under, let's see, here under Window, you can find your actions. But I already have this on my toolbar, so I'll just open this up. And then using the flyout menu, I will select New Action. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say, you could call it Web Optimized or whatever. I'm going to call it Reduce to 1000 pixels. So this will be 1000 pixels wide. I'm going to leave these other settings as they are and hit Record. So now from this point on, whatever I do, it's going to record my steps. So it's really quite simple. I'm just going to go to File and Export, Save for the web. Make sure that it's a JPEG. Here we are. The width, I'm going to change to 1000 pixels. And now we can see that it adjusts the file size. It's under 500 kilobytes, so that's good. I could bump up the quality, but I see that that's going to put me over. So I'm going to reduce it down, keep it at 90%, which is still high quality, and then it's a little bit lower file size. I'm going to hit Save. And it's going to ask me where to put it. Now I've already had this set up, but if I'm on my desktop, I just go and I select my folder, Optimize for the web. That's where I want to save this. So I hit Save and Done. Okay, now that we've done that, we want to stop our recording. So we just go over here to our Actions panel, Stop Recording. So let's go make sure that it's saved properly. Yes, it's already open, Optimize for the web, there it is. If I right click and I go to Get Info, I can see that it's a much smaller file size, 1000 by 1500 pixels, 365 kilobytes. Okay, now how can we do that for all the images in the folder without having to go through those steps one by one? Let's go back into Photoshop. And let's go to File, Automate, and then Batch. Now here I can select my play action, the action being the one we just made, reduced to 1000 pixels. You can choose your folder. Which folder of images do you want to resize? This is the one I want, so I'm going to choose that one. Now let's go over here to Destination. I'm going to choose, yeah, it's already selected, Optimize for the web, so I choose where I want to put those images. I'm going to override the Save As commands, and now I'm going to hit OK. So what's going to happen is all of the images in the folder that I've selected are going to be opened up into Photoshop, and the action that we made, reducing them and saving them at 1,000 pixels, is going to run on every single one of them. And then all of those images will then be put into the new folder, which is the folder that you selected as the destination. And this can take 1 or 2 minutes, obviously depending upon how many images that you're resizing. Okay, let's go see if our images have been resized into our folder. Optimize for the web, and here we'll find all of those images now resized. Get info. There you have it. My second tip is to make sure that you are incorporating Pinterest into your business strategy. Now, this can be a powerful tool and can really bring a lot of traffic. Now, optimizing your images for Pinterest basically just means vertical over all the other formats. Vertical images perform better than horizontal, than square. So you want to make sure that you have some vertical images of your work that can easily be pinned and shared on Pinterest. To illustrate this, I'm going to show you a website that I recently customized for an amazing photographer, Alex Blair. I'm on her galleries page, and I'm going to show you how I use Tailwind to schedule my pins. So I'm going to click on a gallery, and there's a little Tailwind feature that, as you see, I hover over an image and I can click to schedule. So I find the image that I want. They're all lovely. Let's take this one. So I'm going to click schedule, and then this dialog box will pop up and I can choose the board name. Let's go with rustic wedding style. Then I can pin it, and it's pinning directly from her website. So when someone clicks through, they're going to come directly to her site. So I hit schedule. And Pinterest is really handy because you can kind of set your own schedule, how many pins you want to pin per week, and you can just fill that up in one sitting. So you don't have to worry about being on Pinterest every single day. You can just set aside an hour a week and then fill that up. And if you're interested to try Tailwind for free, I have an affiliate link in the description below. Another tip I have for photographers to optimize their websites is to include text-based content along with their images. So this is particularly true on gallery pages where you have a lot of pictures, and obviously you want the photos to tell the story, but by including text along with that, it's not only good for your SEO, but it's also going to help create context and substance around your work. So to illustrate this, I'm on my branding website, and I'm going to jump over to my portfolio. As a designer, my portfolio is also heavily visual. So as I click on a project, I don't only include the images of what we created for that client. I also, on the left side here, I provide some context. So the deliverables specifically about the project. That way my visitors can understand the thought process behind why we did what we did. And I also include, and I find this very important, a call to action. You want to make it as easy as possible for your visitors to reach out and to work with you. So imagine that they're scrolling a gallery page, they fall in love with your work, boom, right there is a call to action that they can just jump over and fill out your contact form. So as we keep going down, then I also include a testimonial. Now, from a SEO and a Google standpoint, this is additional text on your website, but it's more than that. It's that social proof that is going to ease the minds of your potential clients and share a bit about the experience of working with you. As I go on down, I put a final call to action at the bottom. So, like I said, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to work with you once they've fallen in love with your work. So all in all, this page is about 300 words. That seems like a lot, but as you see, you can break it down and also give purpose to it. It's not just about filling up the word count, but making your words count. One simple thing that can be overlooked when you're designing your website in Showit is the SEO settings. So for every page, on the right side, you'll see SEO settings. As I click here, you have the option to add in a page title, a description, and an image. And I recommend that you fill out all of these details. You know, you want to think about your keywords. So using your keywords as much as possible without overdoing it, of course, all within context. And your description should be an accurate summary of each page. My final tip is to include strategic calls to action throughout your website. Don't assume that everyone can find the contact link or that they even know the next step to take. How do they work with you? You want to be sure that you're guiding them in this process. To illustrate this, I'm going to show you a website that I designed for Swedish photographer Maria Weidman. So as we go to her services page, you'll see an attention-grabbing headline, a bit about her as a photographer, her style, her aesthetic. Then we'll have a call to action here. As we scroll down, we have more details, more of the specifics, what's included in the package, and then there's another call to action. This will link to the contact page. Obviously, once you get them on your services page, the next step in the journey is to reach out to you and book a project, or just to inquire, to book a discovery call maybe. So here we show her work in these galleries, but we don't link to a gallery. We don't take them away to another page. We want to keep them on the journey. So as we scroll down, we also address some FAQs. So we want to ease those hesitations and fears that they might have. As we keep going, we see some kind words, also important, that social proof. And then at the very bottom, there's a contact form that's right there, ready to go, very clear how you can get in touch. I touched on this a little bit in tip number 3, but you want to make it as easy as possible for visitors to work with you. Really guide them in the process.